Let's stick on the topic of AI, and over these years I've had the privilege of talking to so many people and interviewing them about AI, and what we always come back to is the human factor of things. And I think nowadays words like competence, trust and leadership have never fitted so perfectly into this AI puzzle. So let's welcome on our stage a researcher whose work explores the human side of digital transformation from the University of Latvia and Riga Technical University. Let's welcome on our stage Agnese Lastowska. Welcome, Agnese.
Hi.
The stage is yours.
Hi, everyone. So before I start my presentation, I want to make one thing clear. Technologies are here to stay, and that's why we are obligated to talk about them from the technological side. But I'm a social scientist, and my main concern is not technology itself, but people. How they think, how they work, how they feel, how they make decisions, and how they protect themselves in times when technology evolves faster than many organizations can adapt. So a few years ago, me and my colleague, we started to notice that ChatGPT and other artificial intelligence tools were more rapidly used in organizations. But much of the discussions in the public sector were based on assumptions than on the real evidence. So we decided to do research about how people perceive artificial intelligence, how they self-assess their competences, and what future work might look like. Today in this presentation, I will focus on so-called cognitive sustainability and professional agency. And that is why, because when artificial intelligence comes into our workplaces, it not only helps us, but it also overwhelms us, interrupts us, and make pressure, the different kind of pressure that hasn't been before. Okay, so I will start with the results from some of the researches, and they are published last year. So there's not much changed, and I'm happy that Luke was before me, because I'm not only one who comes with the bad news. But here you can see also the QR code, and as this is a very short presentation, you can read the full publications afterwards, linking with this QR code. So in this research, we explored attitudes, also how people rate their AI-related task competencies, and here are some of the results. So the highest rated AI competences, I don't think it's going to be a surprise for you, but the first is searching for factual information. So many respondents said that they are using mostly AI for searching for the answers. But as also the previous speaker said, the hallucination rates are very high. It's 22 to 96%. And this is not only what I think, it's also international researchers just recently. University of Stanford has this AI index, and they stayed the same. So there's a huge problem with that, because we might think that we have critical thinking enough to say that this information is true or false. But again, the researchers show that people trust what AI says. Why? Because we usually don't search for the information we already know. So we search for the information we are not sure. So there's a huge possibility that we will think that it's correct, because the confidence level of the AI tool is very high. It doesn't have any metacognition, so it cannot be say that, okay, I might be wrong. This is the confidence level that it has, and it can influence as well. The next is text translation or summarization, and I colored it red because for me it seems very crucial. It seems that summarization is something very technical, something very easy, but from the educational sciences we know in order to summarize something, we really need to understand, search, connect, and do other stuff which is high-rated cognition functions. So we can, of course, use ChatGPT or other tools in order to do it, but then we give away also our agency, our way of meaning making. And the third one is new text creation, of course. I think all of us has made some Christmas poems with the ChatGPT, but that would be okay. But if we use a new text creation in our workplace, it can create a lot of damage if we don't know what we have created. And there's also some research that proves that people nowadays become less and less cautious of what they are proving if it's right. So when we get the information, we become lazy to search if it's really the true or not. And also, as the previous speaker said, is it really creative? No, it exists on very basic and the same patterns. So maybe people can create less ideas, but they will be more original because they're in the context-based, they are emotional, original. So yeah, do not give away this for some tools, trust yourself. So the lowest rated competencies also are top three, but for me the most crucial seems the first one, which is routine work automation. Why? Because I thought that this is going to be the task that AI will do for me, that I will not deal with the boring stuff, the repetitive work, that I will have more time for more complex, more interesting job to do. But what shows the research is that people do not know how to routine their work. They are using ChatGPT and other artificial intelligence tools for very basic things, and they don't know how to do deeply professional stuff with it. And here you can see especially three areas we wanted to see closer, which is finances, healthcare, and public services. And no surprise that also in these three areas, the AI competence level is low. So it doesn't matter if it's finances or if it's healthcare, people still in these areas feel that they are unprepared to use these tools. And here I wanted to show you a network graph. And here we wanted to see how these artificial intelligence competences are connected. And the research results shows that they are indeed connected. So what does it mean for employer? That if you start at least with something to start teach how and support with AI information how to do it, then in the end other competencies will grow as well. And what else we noticed from the correlations is that AI training really makes a clear difference, because respondents who rated their AI competences higher, they also said that they have had some of the training in their workplace. So I'm at the moment speaking about workplace, not about the private issues. And again, this is also some nice chart. This was a research, so there are a bit different researches, and this was about how we perceive what's the AI competence and sentiment, so how we trust AI and what kind of sentiment we have towards AI. And here what we saw is that respondents who felt that they felt more confident about their skills, they also more trusted AI-generated information, which is maybe good, but again, a bit risky, because if you trust, but you don't have knowledge-based information, that it can be risky because you just think that it always will generate the right information. And those people who trusted AI also had a better sentiment towards it. So usually they felt quite positive, and that might be because when they are using it, they are using for the basic stuff, and they don't feel this frustration that they have to learn something new. Because we are very adaptive, and we can adapt new technology usage very well. But what else was interesting, that men rated their AI competence higher than women, and we also know from different research that men are more using ChatGPT and other tools than women. Younger people felt more confident using ChatGPT than older participants, which is also quite rational. And private sector also rated their AI competence higher than public sector employees, which could be some takeaway for those who work with the public sector employees. Of course, in private sector, we want to build our profit, and we are interested that our human resources are very productive. But again, public sector is as important as private. And here some graph. You may not understand fully, but you can read the article, which will going to be published soon. And this is about the leadership. So we want us to see if the leadership has some impact on perceived AI usage. And yes, there is correlation. And what we can see here is that if the leader asks to their employees to use AI in order to be more productive, but people do not know how to use it, and they get frustrated, they feel the pressure, they have this techno-stress, if you've heard this new definition, then also job satisfaction lowers and self-efficacy lowers. And what does it mean? That people do not feel enough. They don't feel happy, they don't want to be productive, they are just not productive because they don't know what their leaders want from them. And so leadership directly improves job satisfaction. This is for all of you who are the leaders of your employees. This is not only what we think and assume, it's also what the research shows. And here is the causal model for improving work performance. And we made it just to see how it works all together, because we work in different environments. Psychosocial environment, there's organizational support, and there is individual psychological resources such as self-efficacy, and they work all together in one ecosystem. And so the takeaway I can give from this slide is that strengthening workplace community and supervisor support can really improve self-efficacy and also what we want from it, the productivity and well-being of our employees. And also developing employees' confidence and capacity also improves their job performance and how they use these tools. Yes, so some takeaway from the slides really quickly. Successful AI integration requires more than technological investment. What I want to say with all of this presentation is that we have to primarily invest in humans, not in technologies. We are spending billions of dollars, not only in the private sector, but also in universities, schools, to provide with all these super cool technologies, but people do not use them, they don't know how to use it. Okay, they search for some answers, good job, but is it enough? I don't think so. Trust is a key adoption factor. We also had these open-ended questions, and people had an option to write some comments there. We thought they will never write. Who wants to write comments in surveys? But we got almost more than 400 comments where people were in two opposites. Some of them were saying that AI will take over, it's the end of the world. Some of them are really happy because they can find some recipes for their family for the dinner. But some of them thought that they would like to know more about it, and they would like to have this very specific support in their workplace in order to understand how they can improve their job performance. And AI can become a burden if users feel unprepared, and the best AI products strengthen human capability. So I don't say that it's bad. I'm not against or for, but I just want us to make more human questions. What kind of AI integration really can help people to become more capable, more confident, more resilient? And yes, so this was my short speech, but I also wanted to encourage you, if you are from the private sector, from the companies, we are doing quite a lot of researches at the moment in University of Latvia and Riga Technical University Hyperlab with biometrical data to see what's the impact of technologies to the humans, so this called human-AI interaction. So if you feel that you would like to collaborate and have some research, we are always happy to collaborate and have some new data. So the last thing I want to say, the future is not determined by artificial intelligence adoption, but by the choices we make around it. So we can make smart choices. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. Round of applause to Agnes Lastovska.